and the possessions found with the skeletons are a poignant reminder of what the people of Herculaneum chose to leave and what to take with them when the catastrophe came. A dazzling array of coins, gold and jewellery, craftsmanship as intricate as the society to which they belonged. A surgeon's instruments, perhaps for a doctor to attend to the wounded. Who this medic was remains a mystery. This skeleton was a mother found clutching her child. And given the choice of what to take with him, this 2-year-old was discovered with neither treasure nor toys. He was found embracing a pet dog. And then the last skeletons to be found, the group of 2 women and the small child with the silver earrings.
E sicuramente questi orecchini indicano qualcosa sullo status della bambina.
Penso proprio di sì, anche per il materiale, perché comunque erano orecchini d'argento, quindi semplici, però erano d'argento, quindi presumibilmente non si tratta di uno schiavo. Almeno la bambina non era schiava.
In ogni caso, si tratta di una scena proprio commovente. Tu ti sei trovato commosso da questo?
Queste persone erano chiaramente coinvolte e abbracciate in qualcosa di affettivo. Ti rendi un attimo partecipe del loro dolore, del loro spavento, del loro terrore.
"97% of the bodies found in Herculaneum were discovered here at the ancient shoreline, unlike Pompeii, where they were spread across the site. There must have been a reason they came here, and one that might perhaps tell us how they faced up to disaster."
Look at the construction of this space. Solid Roman concrete with the strongest kind of vaulted roof. This sort of space would be ideal for taking refuge in an earthquake. And what our research has shown is that in the years running up to the eruption, there were constant earthquakes. They must have learned to use these spaces as a place of refuge, a sort of bomb shelter.
Then as now, Italy is prone to devastating earthquakes. One shook Pompeii and Herculaneum in 63 AD. Its impact was such that it's recorded in a marble relief. You can see the Temple of Jupiter tipping lopsided as it shakes under the force of the ground beneath. In the run-up to the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, this seismic activity increased, and its effects are starkly apparent on the buildings along Herculaneum's ancient shoreline.
The people of Herculaneum were used to earthquake activity almost continuously for decades before the eruption. Not just the big earthquake, but a process by which the crust of the earth bobbed up and down. Over here we can see dramatic evidence of this. We have the suburban baths, and up there we can see how the windows of the baths are half blocked in right up there because the sea is crashing against the wall, and down here the sand is piling against the bottom of the building.
The seismic activity caused the sea level to rise and fall by as much as 5 meters, that's 16 feet, over a 20-year period.
Here I'm standing on top of a massive wall built to keep out the sea. Originally the sea was way out there, and as it advanced and rose and came in, it came smashing against this house. This is the house of the Telephus relief, and you can see here they've had to block in a whole series of arches. And down below we discovered there is an entire level of the house that they have had to abandon entirely because of the rising sea.
They chose to adapt to a perilous environment rather than abandoning their town. Why? The Roman writer Seneca advising on the response to the disaster of 63, gives us one reason. He said there was no point fleeing this particular earthquake. Earthquakes could happen anywhere. Tragically for the people here, Seneca understood neither the geology of earthquakes nor the connection between what was going on under the ground and the volcanic potential of Mount Vesuvius. And there's another clue as to why people didn't leave.
Here in the Naples Museum, they're busy packing stuff up to go on exhibition. And we're just in time to capture this one, which is a bit of a favourite. Favourite because it's a picture of Vesuvius. It's over on its side, but you can just about make out, here is the volcano. And by the volcano is a figure of a god, the god of wine, Bacchus, and he's completely clad in grapes. And that points to the enormous fertility of the slopes of Vesuvius. Here you can even see vines growing in rows. And there's another interesting thing about this. Vesuvius has got a cone on top. It hasn't yet blown its top off. And that tells us two things. For the Romans, Vesuvius is a safe place, no eruptions, and it's an enormously fertile place. Why would anyone want to leave it?
The people were then, and are now, deeply attached to their landscape. Signor Ambrosio runs a vineyard on the ash-rich slopes of Vesuvius and is very proud of his wine.
Colore della lava.
The colour of lava.
The wine is called Lacrima Christi, literally the tears of Christ, and its production was thought to date back to the 18th century, till Signor Ambrosio uncovered some extraordinary new evidence in his vineyard.
E qui.
Oh, you've made me a happy man. A Roman dolium. That's what I like to see.
Vediamo, qui c'è una somiglianza. Queste sono ancora tracce del mosto di 2000 anni fa.
No.
Questo qui.
Wow.
All'interno.
This is a trace. This is amazing. This is ancient Roman wine on the lip here. This is the must. And actually, if I run my finger there, it's rough. And here, it's smooth and slightly sticky. They've conducted DNA analysis of the must here, and it emerges that it is the same as the modern wine.
And with his wine, vineyard and land at stake, Signor Ambrosio has too much to lose by leaving Mount Vesuvius, just like his Roman forefathers. Back in 79 AD, no one in Herculaneum had any idea that it might erupt, let alone the scale of the catastrophe that was about to unfold.
The disaster took many hours to play out, probably more than 12 hours before the final lethal surge that killed people arrived. In the meantime, the population must have agonized about how to save themselves. Perhaps thinking of what they did in earthquakes in the past, many of them came down here to the ancient shore. Some were out on the beach, some inside these arches.
The vast majority found in the arches were women or children, whilst those on the beach were nearly all male. Perhaps the timescale can explain this strange separation and how these people organized themselves before disaster struck.
The humans tend to react to crisis differently if the crisis is sudden or very short time, or the crisis is long. And when the crisis is sudden, the stronger they survive, the males, adult males, young. When the crisis is much longer, so there is more possibility to organize. There is a protection for the weakest, so children and women. It depends how much time you have. If this is collapsing now, we rush away. If they tell us in 15 minutes this ceiling will collapse, we organize it. For instance, it happened on the Titanic, where they had hours. So at the end, more women and children that survived than males.
With Herculaneum, you have even more hours. And are we seeing special treatment? Are we seeing different treatment of women and children from males?
They put the family inside the chamber, and the males were looking around what we do, what's going on.
But it's rather nice, because you've got the Romans being real gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
They're saying, women and children, please take refuge from this disaster, and we'll be brave, we'll stay outside.
The fact that there were so many men out on the beach suggests an act of self-sacrifice. But by the final phase of the eruption, escape was impossible. The ash was now falling at a rate of over 1 meter an hour and would envelop our skeletons, capturing their last moments of life. A mother embracing her baby. A boy clasping his pet dog. And 2 women cradling a girl with silver earrings. The arches offered protection from earthquakes, not from the wrath of Mount Vesuvius. Nothing could have prepared these people for what happened here. But these skeletons are more than a grisly reminder of death and disaster.
Like so much else in Herculaneum, they give us a vivid and sharply focused picture of people's lives. And it's a surprising picture.
From their homes, to what they ate, to how they ate it, and the values they held dear. It's tempting to talk about the ordinary Roman, but it's difficult to pigeonhole Vinidius Ennicus, Petronia Justa, or the skeletons from the arches in this way.
We tend to think of the Roman world as one of brutal contrasts between rich and poor, master and slave. Herculaneum shows us a more complex and a more fluid society. It gives us back the people in the middle. And far from being what we think of as ordinary, they are quite extraordinary.
This was a place where slaves could be flogged, but also a town where they could be freed, earn citizenship, own property, and gain dignity. Where immigrants from across the empire and beyond could strive in a land of opportunity to enjoy a quality of life unparalleled for antiquity, and as full citizens make themselves at home in this new Roman world, a world that would continue to flourish for another 3 centuries.